Now, disinfectant. People are like, Popp, disinfectant is toxic and it'll kill you. Yes, it will. But you know what we do use? There's a chemical out there that we use all the time to kill baddies and other cells in the body. What? Oh, that's right. Chemotherapy. All right, everybody, Terrence Popp here with another episode. Live from the Lair. All right, I'm going to be going over a couple things today. Now, I got a bunch of requests in regards to the female draft. Okay, as we all know, the male-only draft was just deemed unconstitutional. All right, now I went through a lot of the debate minutes that took place up at the Senate in regards to this whole fucking fiasco that's going on in regards to women in the draft and serving in combat. Now, they fought tooth and nail to allow women into combat. All right. Now, am I saying that they shouldn't be there? Yes. Should they be allowed to take the chance to do that job? Yes, but the standard should not be lowered. All right, typically, the infantry standard is a 12-mile road march in 3 hours or less in full combat gear, which is usually the minimum of a 45-pound pack dry, LBE or vest, weapon, and helmet. So in reality, it's like 65, 70 pounds. A normal dude can do that. It's tough to get into that standard, but once you get there and you maintain it, it's not that bad in the beginning. But if you go into the infantry at 17, 18 years old, by the time that dude is between 30 and 35, he's done. His knees, ankles, back, probably wrecked for life. Now, you take a woman who is biologically weaker, they have less muscle mass, smaller heart, lungs, put them under the same stress and same conditions, they break a lot faster, and even, it can be argued, even worse. Okay, so what we have here is on the other side of the argument, 2/3 of all college graduates today are women. So if you have that many college graduates, that is a large pool of talent that you are going to completely ignore for the draft. They have a valid argument there because, having a good brain pan and using it correctly makes life in the military way easier. Feminists play the game that men and women are equal and the differences are strictly a social construct. Despite the fact that there is professional men's teams and professional women's teams. And you have female Olympic teams and you have male Olympic teams. And there's a big difference when you take a man who thinks he's a woman, goes over to compete against biological women, and the women get their ass kicked probably a large majority of the time, to the point where they're actually starting to raise a ruckus and fight the whole goddamn thing, at the federal level, which they should have done that a while ago when the feminists were making all this noise. But you didn't. You sat on your ass, and guess what? Now you have a thumb up your ass, and all you can really do is play switch, and that is very unpleasant. You know what I'm saying? There we go. All right, now that, this was found unconstitutional, the women are like, well, we should just do away with the draft. Now that your ass is on the line, you want to do away with the draft. Well, I got 2 words for you. F*** off. Period. Now listen, I have 2 daughters, all right? And if it becomes a law that they need to register for selective service, I'll drive them up there. Am I happy about it? Not really, but that's just the way it is, all right? Now typically, men were allowed to vote because they were leaned upon heavily in the society and culture, they lived in. For instance, back in the day, before you had multi-million fire trucks and fire foam and it had it, firefighting down to a science, if a business or a house caught on fire in your neighborhood, guess what? They came, knocked on your door, pulled your ass out, and you were either holding a hose, pushing the truck, or going in the building, or working a bucket. When you're near a fire, shit happens. It's very dangerous. And before law enforcement became what it is today, if shit went awry, guess what? They came and knocked on your door, you were deputized, and now you had to go fight the bad guy or face the evil. It's the same thing with the draft. Okay, in return, they were allowed to vote. Now, women decided, or the feminists, they wanted to vote too. And they got it without having to do any of that other bullshit, which is blatantly unfair. Those are the facts. Now, I've had a couple arguments on Facebook with a couple of these crazy bitches that, say that, I'm completely wrong and it's not historically accurate and all that other bullshit. Okay, they're wrong. Listen, if it wasn't for men fighting for women to get the vote, it probably never would have happened. So shame on us on one regard. Shame on women for playing the double standard. Now, I also listened to some of the arguments here that were done and who are against it. They brought up some valid points like the number of injuries, the severity of the injuries, if said injuries could be recovered from, and, effects on morale, and so forth. Valid arguments. All of them were valid arguments. And the women countered with feelings. And here's the sad part. Everyone rolled down or rolled over to appease the hurt feelings at the expense of turning the military into a social experiment. Listen, I did 33 years in the military. I served in the United States Army for 3 formal conflicts. I was almost killed in 2. I know exactly what goes on at the last 300 meters of our foreign policy. And if you do it wrong, guess what happens? You're filling body bags, you're assigning funeral details, and people are getting taps in 21. It's very sad and unpleasant, especially when the soldier was young and it didn't have to happen. That is the reality situation. But they'd rather not hurt feelings than stuff body bags and coffins. It's shameful. A lot of the arguments that I encounter a lot when I talk against this whole bullshit. Number one, you're bitter and you hate women. How is it whenever you talk to these feminists and use logic and reason, they counter with you hate and you're bitter? Speaking the truth doesn't make you hate and bitter. I have seen the end result of true hate, in Iraq when they were digging up mass graves left behind from Saddam Hussein. We're not anywhere near that. I'm just speaking the truth, and if you can't fucking handle it, shut up. 2, you hate your mother. What does that have to do with the price of rice in China? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. This is like when you fight with your girlfriend and she comes back with stupid bullshit to get you to go off on an emotional tangent where then they can outmaneuver you and win the argument. Don't fall for it. I don't fall for it, ever. Number 3, you had bad experiences that are jading, your perspective. No, I'm not. Listen, I have been in non-combat MOSs for the last 10 years of my career. All right. Now, I've had male soldiers who transferred into said MOSs because they got hurt or what have you. And a lot of them had airborne wings, air assault wings, their EIBs, CIBs, Ranger tabs, all of the, the fruit salad and candy you get when you serve in the top tier units. And they were going against females for the same E5 slots. And a lot of these women, they had like a 61% in each of the 3 categories on their PT test. You pass at 60%. But these other dudes were stellar. They kicked ass. But they go into these promotion boards, and guess who gets promoted? The woman. And I can't tell you how many times I had to look these men in the face and say, hey, you didn't get promoted because you have a fucking dick. Plain and simple. And I've seen hundreds of guys get out of the service because of said fucking bullshit. Listen, it is what it is. They looked me in the face. They said, hey, Sergeant Popp, I love being here. I love the Army, but I just can't deal with fucking Wonderland anymore. This fucking gay nastics is out of control. I'm out. And I can't blame them. So that is what I'm going to do. That's my talk here in regards to the whole draft debacle. And at the end of the day, I hope it goes through, because it's about time that these women actually feel some serious fucking reality. They've been coddled for the past 50 years. And reality is the ultimate teacher. All right, number 2.
With everyone stuck in their homes and Pornhub streaming to every television in the house. No? Just me? It's never been a more important time to protect your data, and the best way to do that is with the Brave browser. It's free, blocks online advertising, and protects your data from the evil prigs in Silicon Valley. You only see ads if you want to, and you're rewarded with cryptocurrency for your attention. Winning! Support Sandman and download Brave by clicking on the link in the description.
I talked to a lot of guys. I got a lot of comments, on some of my videos and in the email in regards to President Trump and his comments about this disinfectant. Now, let's get this straight. I have reviewed the video of him talking about it. I listened to Tim Pool, who is a libertarian and is very seldom on Trump's side, talk about it. And then there's another Canadian attorney who talks about it in his law vlog. And he doesn't have any skin in the game. He's a goddamn attorney. Seems like a decent guy, but at the end of the day, he's a wordsmith. And, attorneys are really good at arranging and picking apart words for their benefit. He himself said that it was completely taken out of context and, in his opinion, was fake news. At no time did President Trump tell anyone to inject Clorox or Lysol.
Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light. And I think you said that has him injected.
Ultraviolet or powerful light.
And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number in the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting.
He was talking about a UV treatment that is used to disinfect bacteria and viruses. Well, guess what? It's a valid treatment. It is used today in some places in the world, and it was first used, I believe, in 1930, 1940 time frame before antibiotics, kicked in. Because guess what? UV light kills bugs. All right, now I'm not going to defend him in the regards that he phrased it poorly. He's not a medical individual, and he should have had one of his medical people say that stuff. But that's neither here nor there. All right. It absolutely sickens me that it got taken to such a crazy fucking level. And there's people out there that are so stupid and brainwashed, they can't listen to it and hear it for what it is. He was asking questions. At no point did he say, we should do this. This is what we're going to do. Okay. There's a lot of people out there who hate Trump. I personally don't like him, but I voted for him because he wasn't more of the same. And for the most part, he's trying to do what he campaigned on, which I have never seen in my entire life. Period. Bar none. Now, disinfectant. People are like, Popp, disinfectant is toxic and it'll kill you. Yes, it will. But you know what we do use? There's a chemical out there that we use all the time to kill baddies and other cells in the body. What? Oh, that's right. Chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is a form of disinfectant. There are tens of thousands of formulas out there that they will shoot into your ass as soon as you get diagnosed with the big C. And let me tell you, it is very unpleasant. Seldom, if ever, does it extend your life, and even less does it cure you. But they still do it. But you know why? Because it's all they got during this whole virus fucking pandemic fucking bullshit. If there are straws out there that need to be grasped that could possibly help people, why in the fuck are we not using it? I'm just asking for a friend. So, I mean, that's basically what I got for today. I hope you enjoyed it, but you know, I find I'm at my best when I get spun up. So if you have any material or any subjects that you want me to cover, send them in either email or links below. Boom. Talk to you later.